Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Unexpected Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we are joined by Tiffany, who's been one of our blogging clients for, I don't know, like a year, maybe a little over a year at this point. And we're super excited to talk about her experience. But before we jump into anything, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone about your business?
Yeah, I would love that. So my name is Tiffany Lantz. I own Tiffany Lantz Photography. I started my business officially in 2020. Good time to start a business. But yeah, I focus primarily on weddings and branding sessions for small businesses, but I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, but those are my primary focuses.
Awesome. Well, we're going to jump right in and we're going to talk about your experience blogging with us. But before that, were you doing any blogging before? Had you tried blogging before we actually started blogging for you? And if so, like how long had you kind of tried it out on your own?
Yeah, no, great question. So I'll say I tried blogging, but it didn't go very well. I basically wrote like two posts. I had no idea what I was doing. There was probably like 6 to 12 months between the two posts. And then I decided, you know what? I need someone who knows what they're doing. And that's how I decided to go with you guys.
So when you were writing those posts, were there any like challenges that came up, or was there anything that you're like, wow, this is way harder than I thought it would be, or like I'm struggling so hard with that?
It kind of yes to everything. It was a lot more involved than what I realized it was. And I didn't even know about things like keywords.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't even know that was a thing that you should look for and see what people are searching. I had no clue. I was just blindly writing and hoping people would somehow stumble across it. I really had no idea what I was doing.
I think that's one of the biggest thing is finding keywords, and it's so important because writing a lot of times, especially if you're not comfortable writing, which let's be honest, most people who are not writers don't love writing. So writing can take a lot of time and effort, and then if you do that and you're like, wow, that post is doing nothing, I feel like I just wasted all my time, like no one's actually searching for this. It can feel like really disheartening and make you stop when like one little tweak or adding one little thing could have like completely changed the entire trajectory of that post. So I think that's a great thing to bring up, that whether you're doing it with somebody else or doing it by yourself, like just taking the little extra step, finding keywords is going to save you like so much effort and headache and struggle in the end.
Exactly. And even like the consistency that you should have with blogging, I did not have that. So even if I would have continued on, I wouldn't have come to anything because I didn't know anything about keywords. I wasn't doing it consistently. So it would have taken even longer for me not to get results.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, honestly, when we're looking at it, when you run your own business, you're wearing all the hats. Like sometimes
Mhm.
blog writing is one of the things where it can easily get pushed to the back burner and you're like, okay, I'll just do that when I have time. I'll do that when I have time. But like 90% of the time, we just don't have extra time to, do all of these extra things that we know will work, but they just take a little bit of effort. So I definitely feel that. I think a lot of people kind of feel that where they're like, I feel like I should be
Mhm.
doing it. There's just not enough hours in the day to actually do it.
Yeah, just keeps getting pushed to the back burner.
Exactly. So, since you've started working with us, how have the blog posts been working for you that we've written? Have you seen anything kind of come out of them? Have you had any like clients say anything, or found that maybe you're getting clients that are more aligned or kind of more on board with hiring you as their photographer?
Yeah, no. So I recommend you and KP to literally everyone I talk to. I always rave about the blogging and like the website, of course, but I'm like, but the blogs are just amazing because it's like two posts a month, which is already like more content than I can even keep up with because with every blog post, there's so much you can turn that into,
Hmm.
just to like repurpose all that content. So just that alone takes so much off my plate, which is huge. I love it because if I need content or if I'm not sure what to write about or post a reel, I honestly will go on my own blog, scroll through them and be like, okay, let's talk about this today. And I just like kind of take little bits from the blogs you guys write because it's just like a gold mine. I have had other vendors tell me like that blog of yours is like a gold mine. They actually said that there's so much information out there. I'm like, thanks. I didn't do it. But no, it is amazing. One thing I also really like to do is I will include links to a lot of the blog posts that are like helpful for new clients whenever I'm like onboarding them, or if we're planning a session and I have locations, I will just send them the link to the blog post and say like, check these out. These are some of my favorites. And it's just, it saves me so much time. And then they can read about the locations, choose their own, see photos in those locations. So it's just amazing.
I think those two things are a great point. One, blogs are like the perfect thing for a long form piece of content that you can then take and break up, especially if you're like breaking it down into different headings. Like each heading can be its own Instagram post or its own reel or TikTok, and it gives you so much content to work from that it makes it really easy to repurpose it and use it and kind of put it out there. Because I mean, sometimes it's just you can't think of something new. And honestly, you don't want to reinvent the wheel every single day, every single week. Like that gets exhausting. So having something like that to kind of lean on, I think is awesome. We do it all the time. Like all of our content gets repurposed across every platform that we go on to. And then you also reach kind of a wider audience because not everyone is going to follow you on Instagram. Not everyone is going to read your blog. Not everyone is going to be on your email, newsletter or anything like that. So it's good to kind of use a wide net and hit everybody with it. But I also love kind of the last piece that you said. I think it's super helpful to have posts that you can send to clients that have already booked. Because I think a lot of times, we even focus on it a lot of being able to, increase your traffic and get people to your site, but also the time saving portion of answering questions that you get asked all the time or information that you share all the time in a blog post and just being like, hey, here's this link that tells you everything you need to do to prepare for this session and like all of the tips I have, instead of having to type it out in an email every single time or like talk about it all the time or help them decide on this and that or whatever it might be. Like that, anytime we can save in our business, I feel like is valuable.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that we could probably be doing instead. So just having those that you can not only, maybe reach people who aren't already booked with you, but also send them to your actual clients and just make it way easier on you to handle everything and onboard people or offboard people or plan anything out is really important.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I feel like too, whenever I send those links to them, if they haven't already stumbled across the blog, like on my website or on their Google search, oh, here it is, soft launch the blog. Check it out. There's a lot on here. So it's really nice kind of like, and again, establishing yourself as like the expert.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like a really big thing. And I just feel like that's to guide them towards the blog and like all the information just really helps with that.
Yeah, yeah, you kind of, I mean, hopefully they already feel that at least a little bit of it after
Yeah.
hiring you, but it's a thing where, a lot of confidence being built up before they actually, step in front of the camera and that like trust and they're like, okay, your photos look great, but like you actually really do know what you're talking about and like I completely trust you and I know that this is going to go great because you are an expert in all of this. So now I'm like really confident and really excited for whatever session it might be, wedding or branding or, whatever it is. So that's definitely something that should not be ignored and is a big bonus. Since, starting blogging with us, two questions. One, what has been your favorite part? And two, is there anything that's kind of surprised you that's, come up throughout the process or throughout the months of blogging?
Yeah, no, good questions. So my favorite part about just like working with you guys and having the blogs be done for me is, again, it just saves me so much time. The amount of time and effort and again, the keyword research. And I know you have to have, or maybe you don't have to, but there are options to have like subscriptions to different tools
Mm-hmm.
to use, not having to worry about that and just putting it in the hands of an expert who knows what they're doing. I don't have to dedicate the time to learn it because, like you said earlier, like we have so much as business owners, all of us, we have
Hmm.
so much to do. So anything I can offer to someone who knows what they're doing, I'm going to do that. And you guys are just so easy to work with. I love like the 2 posts a month. We go through, choose our topics. I send like some inspiration if I have some for the post, and then you just take it and run with it. And every single time I get like the first version or first revision of the blog post back, I'm like, I don't have to change anything. Every single time I'm like, this is perfect. Or I think in the one post, I actually learned something from what you wrote. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's just amazing. And for like after working with you guys for what, like a year and a half, the thing that just surprises me the most about the blogging is how effective it is.
Hmm.
I was someone before, I'm like, like they say you need to blog, but do I though? Like, do I really have to? But now, after seeing just the traffic that comes to my website, just from those blog posts, I tell everyone, you should start blogging. You should blog. Don't like start now because it's going to take time, like for you to really get good, consistent results.
Hmm.
So I think that's been like the most surprising thing about this whole journey.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it is something that takes time. So like we're always, advocating starting sooner than later because it is something that will pay off in the long run. But I think a lot of people are like, okay, blog post is out there, whatever, people might see it. But a big benefit of that is just getting the traffic to your site because at the end of the day, you want people to visit your site. You want people to see it. You want to show up in the rankings. Your blog can help boost your overall rankings for your website. So maybe some of your other pages will start ranking as well. But just getting people to the site then gives you the opportunity to win them over, to show off your personality, to show off why you're the right photographer for them. So I think having that kind of thought and an idea of, okay, I'm doing this to build the traffic, I'm doing this to get a bigger outreach, I'm doing this to expand my site. Every new blog post is a new page on your website that people can find you by. Like that's huge, and that can be a major, difference in your business of reaching more people than you would on Instagram or, Pinterest or TikTok or all of the things where, blogging and Pinterest kind of go hand in hand in the sense that they take a little longer, but they can pay off a little longer. Instagram, you post something, you maybe get 48 hours if you're lucky on that post, but realistically, it's probably no more than a day. Whereas blog posts, ones that we've written for you a year and a half ago, are still ranking. They're still bringing in traffic. They're still bringing people to your site. So that, valuable traffic is something that shouldn't be overlooked and is a major bonus for any business trying to get themselves out there and get seen by more people and get seen by people that they actually want to work with and not just people who are like, I'm just maybe here or there, but people are like, no, this is the exact venue I want to go to, and this is the exact style of photography that I want, and this is the perfect photographer. Let me just hire them. Like it's perfect. It's a win-win.
Exactly. No, I love it.
Okay, so our final question for you: how confident do you feel with your blog now after writing with us for the past year and a half?
I feel extremely confident. So, anytime I show someone my blog post or share a link to my blog, I feel so good about sharing it just because I know there is so much valuable information out there. And kind of like what you mentioned earlier, it will take them like directly to my website too, which they can see, which I also love my website that you guys did. So, I just feel so much more confident with like my whole internet presence just from working with you guys and the blogging and repurposing the content. I just love it.
Well, we are so glad to hear that. We have loved working with you, and there's been so many great pieces that we've been able to write for you and information that we've been able to learn. I feel like every time we write a post for someone, we like learn more and more about
Mhm.
photography. And I'm like, I never expected to know this much about, wedding photography or branding photography or anything. If you'd asked me a couple years ago, I would have been like, I don't know, you just point the camera and you click, like how much goes into
Yeah,
it. And now I'm like, wow, there is so much that goes into it. There's so much that goes into planning and executing and all of that stuff. So it has been so much fun writing for you and so much fun working with you and seeing how much growth your website has had over the past year or so. And it's just been amazing. But if anyone wants to keep up with you, see your work, maybe read a couple of the blog posts, where can they find you online?
Yeah, so you can find me on my website, which is just tiffanylancephoto.com. Also on TikTok, Instagram, same things, just at Tiffany Lance Photo. Keep it simple around here. They're all the same.
Perfect. Well, we will link those in the description. You should definitely go check her out. But thank you so much for coming on today and talking with us, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Of course. Thank you guys.